Hey guys, welcome back. This time we're coming at you from Whistler, BC. And today we're talking about another set, the 1958 Top Set and its errors. Now, the 58 Top Set had 494 cards in the set. Well, it's supposed to be 495, but card number 145 was supposed to be Ed Boucher. Topps never released that card. Don't really know why. So we're going to be talking about all the errors and variations in this set. We're also going to be talking about a special one, 150, the Mickey Mantle. I bet you guys have never heard of an error card on that Mickey Mantle in this set, but we have found one. Well, Nick found one. He's my buddy over on a Facebook error card page, and we're going to talk about that card number 150 here. We're also talking about a relationship we have with GruntTalksMLB.com. My buddy Darren over there is hosting my videos. He's got a lot of sports content, mainly baseball, funny stuff for sale, interviews. Check him out when you get a chance. Great page, and Darren, I appreciate you. Let's get started on this set. So I want to first start by mentioning the white and yellow letter variants in the set. A lot of the cards either have white or yellow letters for the team names as well as the player names, and the yellow ones are much more rare. If you have some of these yellow letter variants, they can be worth a lot of money. Even the common cards, there's 14 different team names that can come in yellow, as well as 19 different players' names that can come in yellow letters. So if you got some of those, hang on, and those are worth some money. Let's get started on our list. Number 2, Bob Lemon, Hall of Famer. Uncorrected error says he won 20 games in 7 different seasons. That was incorrect. Alex Kellner, number 3, had a 3.75 ERA in 49. Well, it should have been 49, but the card says it was 1950, so just had the wrong year. Also uncorrected. Lou Burdett, number 10. Well, here we get the same error in all these Lou Burdett cards where they're misspelling his first name. It should be L-E-W, but they put L-O-U on the front. That was not corrected. Jim Rivera and George Crow, card number 11 and 12, wrong date of birth. Number 13, Billy Hoft. Now, this one's kind of interesting. Now, there's actually 3 different variations of this card if you consider the yellow letter variants. Near the bottom by his foot, there's going to be a yellow or a red triangle next to his foot. Neither one of them really worth more than the other, but those are just considered variations, not necessarily considered errors. Charlie Neal, number 16, date of birth error. Number 20, Gil McDougall. Uncorrected error said he had 311 hits in 1956. That was not correct. Number 29, Ted Lepsio. Should be 15 home runs in 1956. So the back is incorrect on that one. Hank Aaron, Hammer and Hank, number 30. Now this one's a cool one. I'm going to put this under the trivia column, okay? Now, you'll see some of these cards popping up with a blue background, and people are charging a ton of money for them. It's a pretty rare thing. It should be a green background. Well, it turns out if the cards get faded, the yellow will start to wash out, and you can see that in like the team name at the bottom as well, where the yellow will wash out of the card and it starts to turn blue. Well, that's not correct. It shouldn't be blue, but it's not truly an error either. It's just a sun fading thing. Some people may argue with me on that, and that's fine. Let's move on, though. Card number 34, Bob Thurman, and card number 35, Don Mossy. Well, we've seen Don Mossy before. Both those cards had the wrong date of birth. 37, Mike McCormick. This is kind of cool. This is an uncorrected error. It's the wrong player pictured. What you have there is Ray Monzant pictured. Poor guy. Number 38, Dick Gernert. Wrong date of birth. Also, he had, it should be 291 hits in 56. That was not corrected, neither one of those. Number 42, John Roseborough. His batting average was 273 in 57, but the card says 56, so just the wrong year on that one. And number 43, Sal Magley. His 8-4 record should be 1950. They had the wrong year on that. 46, Lou Sleeter. Uncorrected error also. Should be his 13th season in the majors. That was incorrect. 52, Roberto Do Not Call Me Bob Clemente. Uncorrected error on this one as well. His 56 batting average shows as 310. It should be 311. Big whoop, right? Number 54, Norm Seaburn. Uncorrected error. On the back, McAllister is spelt wrong. Number 59, Dave Sizzler. Yeah, that's son of Hall of Famer George Sizzler, by the way. A couple of things going on with this card. There's a green line to the right of the inset box down there at the bottom next to where the team logo is. Also, the Red Sox little picture there is bleeding red. The red is kind of coming out the bottom there. Those variations are all common, easy to find. Number 61, Daryl Johnson. He had 2 years at Denver. That was not correct. 64, John Lonnet. It says that he was twice over 20 home runs. Well, unfortunately, that's not correct. It was only once. Bud Byerly, number 72, has the wrong person pictured again. So Hal Griggs is actually the picture you're seeing there. That was not corrected. Number 78, Ernie Johnson. He was 15-4 with Milwaukee in 1951. That was an uncorrected error. Sandy Amoros, date of birth is wrong. Larry Jackson, number 97. He had 56 wins in the minors. Number 100, Early Win Hall of Famer. He had 17 years in the majors. They had the wrong amount on that one. Billy Gardner, number 105. And Ozzie Virgil, number 107. Date of birth wrong on both of those. The Ozzie Virgil one actually has a second issue going on where it said he had 6 years in the major leagues. It should have been 5 years. Number 112, Gus Zernial. He hit over 24 home runs in 6 seasons, not 5 like it says. Number 113, Jerry Walker. Date of birth is wrong. Number 115, Jim Bunning. Now this one's kind of cool. So first of all, there's an uncorrected error of his date of birth being incorrect. But there's also a variation on this card where his picture is slightly off to the left. It's looked like his picture's uncentered. Well, you can get both variations and they're both pretty easy to find, but kind of a funny one. Number 116, Dave Philly, 13 years in the American League, but it says junior circuit. That was incorrect. It should have been American League. Eddie Mixis, number 121. He actually joined the Orioles the last season. It says he just joined them, but he joined the last season, but it was at the end of the year. Number 125, Al Dark, date of birth. 128, Willie Kirkland. He was in the military in 1957, not 1956, as it mentions on the back. Jackie Jensen, number 130. His home is incorrect. It says Crystal Bay, but they misspelt Crystal. Number 135, Mo Drabowski. This one's kind of weird. On the card, they show him as being Mike. His name is not Mike. He does not go by Mike. It should be Mo. Poor guy. And that was uncorrected. 143, Bill Muffett. Uncorrected error. Should be 221 ERA in 57, not 223 ERA. So they kind of tried to give him a higher ERA on that one. Okay, Mosquito. 148, Billy Consul. Says he has 14 home runs and 55, as well as 276 batting average. But it's not correct. It should be 13 home runs and 279 batting average. So they have both those wrong. And we come to card number 150, Mickey Mantle. Now this one's cool. So like I was talking about earlier, Nick found this as being a variation on this card that I bet you a lot of you have never heard of before. Now on the back of the card, there's a big old smudge where there's missing stats. Well, he's been searching for this card for a few years now, and he's picked them up along the way as he found them. But they're extremely rare. If you go through eBay or whatever, you'll have a hard time finding it there. So be on the lookout for that one. Check out your 58 Mickey Mantle, see if it has that missing stats on there, and I'll throw up some scans of that one. Card number 153, Les Moss, is actually his 15th season, not 14th, as it indicates on the back. Hector Lopez, number 155, date of birth is wrong. 156, Dick Hyde. It says he broke into baseball in 49. Well, it should have been 48. They're 1 year off. Ralph Terry, number 169, date of birth is wrong. Harry Anderson, 171. No, not Night Court Harry Anderson. This is a different one. It says he had 31 points higher. Well, it should be 33 points, as it indicates on the back. And number 173, Eddie Yost. He's beginning his 14th year with Washington, not 13th, as it indicates. Joe Caffey, 182, date of birth wrong. And 183, Dave Jolly, said he had 12 wins with Syracuse in 1950, but it should have been Tulsa, and it should have been in 1949. Elvin Tapp, 184, date of birth. 188, Milt Bowling. This is funny. The photo is not Milt. That is a picture of Lou Berberett on the front of the card. 192, Milt Graff. He had 200 hits in Birmingham, not 196, so they got the wrong amount of hits. 195, Whitey Lockman. He had 9 years with San Francisco, and he was not out in all of the season in 47, like it says on the back. He played a little bit in 47. Haywood Sullivan, 197. He did not play with the Red Sox in 56, as it says on the back. 200, Bob Keegan, date of birth. 201, Jim Bolger, came up with the Reds in 1950, not 1951, so 1 year off. Woody Held, number 202. Now, we've seen him on the list before. They can't seem to spell his name right. It should be Woody, Woodie. Of course, Topps puts the Y on the end of it. I could see why they would do that. Number 208, Cal McLish. There's a thin black squiggle next to his cap. I'll throw up a scan of that one. That's just a variation, not actually an error. Number 220, Tom Brewer. He was in the minors for 1 year, not 2 years, as it indicates. 222, Bud Daly is born in 32, not 33. And he was traded in April, not in March. So, big whoop. They got a month wrong on the traded thing. 223, Andy Pafko. Well, he's kind of famous for his 1952 Topps card, if you have that one in good condition. But he's also an uncorrected error in this set. It says he broke into the majors in 1944. It should have been 43. Bob Smith, 226. Photo is not of him. It's Bobby Gene Smith. So similar names, but not the same person, okay? Bill White, number 237. He was not in the PCL, that's the Pacific Coast League, in the previous season. That was incorrect. Alex Gromas, 254, date of birth. Turk Lone, that's 261. He led the league in games pitches, not innings pitched. So two different things, of course. Johnny Groth, 262. He came up in the big leagues in 47, not in 49. Billy Martin, 271. He had 12 hits in the World Series, not 2. Poor guy. That's a big thing to mess up. So he had 12 hits in the World Series, not 2. 277, Virgil Trucks. There's a black swiggle on the lower right-hand border. 278, Mac Burke. There's a red blob on the left border. Moving on, 279, Bob Boyd. Wrong date of birth. 289, Lou Burdett, should be L-O-U, not L-E-W. Minnie Minoso, 295, had the wrong date of birth. 303, Neil Chrisley, he led Double-A in doubles with 40, not 40 home runs. Number 305, Clem Labine, he broke in at the end of 1950 season, not 51 as it shows on the back. Number 306, Whammy Douglas. Poor Whammy, that's a cool name, right? There's a yellow block on the top of the border, right in the center. Kind of weird looking, kind of out of place. That's a variation. Number 308, Paul Giel. He appeared in 6 games in 54, not 4 games. Hoyt Wilhelm, date of birth. That card was number 324. 347, Don Rudolph. Now, in the cartoon, it says he's a soccer player, but they misspelled soccer. It was S-O-C-K-E-R. Braves team card, 377. Now, this is interesting. We're going to see this show up a couple times with these team cards, where there's an alphabetical listing on the back, or it might be 6th series listing of a checklist of cards. And there's a few of them like that. Wally Post, number 387. There's a yellow or white line above position at the bottom. Number 397, Tigers team card. Another one of these where it's an alphabetical or numerical checklist on the back. Marv Grissom, 399. The Giants are slightly whited out on the ball inset. That's the bottom corner there where it has the team. Number 403, Steve Korchek. There's a yellow blob above catcher. 405, Ken Aspromonte. The bio says Kingston, but it's actually misspelled. It should be Kinston, K-I-N-S-T-O-N. Now, it seems like it should be Kingston, right? But it's not. They did not come back and correct that one. 406, Vic Power, date of birth error. And number 408, the Orioles checklist, another variation where the back could be an alphabetical list. It'll say alphabetical 3 of 4, or it could be the 6th series checklist, which is in numerical order. Number 409, Frank Thomas. No, not that Frank Thomas. He joined the Pirates in 53. Well, it should have been 51 that he actually joined. Foster Castleman, 416. He had 25 doubles in 54, not 5 doubles. That's a big difference. 419, Bobby Shantz. There's a variation on this where the Yankees logo at the bottom there bleeds either the blue or the white. 424, Hall of Famer Larry Doby, one of the first to break the color barrier in baseball. Well, on the back, they misspelt his first name by putting 1 R in Larry. So I'm not sure why they did that. That was uncorrected. The Redlegs team card, number 428. This is the last one we see where the back could be an alphabetical list, alphabetical checklist, or it could be the numerical 6th series checklist. And then 433, Pancho Herrera. This is one of the biggest errors you'll see in this set. You've probably seen it on other lists where the A in Herrera can be missing altogether off the front of the card. That has a high book value of about $600. But there's some varying issues with this where more letters could be missing off that last name, and there's not really a value assigned to those. So if you got some of those, hang on to them. You got some cards that are worth some money. 439 Ray Narleski. On the back it says minor league. It should be major league stats. 441 Jim Marshall cartoon says last seasons. It should be last season singular. That was not corrected. Roman Mejias 452 date of birth. Number 458 Julio Bacar. The bat could either be touching the border or going slightly over it. You kind of get some varying degrees of that. Number 460 Chuck Asegian, if I'm pronouncing that right. The position may be slightly lower than the team for some reason, it's just slightly off. I'll just kind of show you side by side of that one. Vito Valentinetti 463 date of birth is wrong. Don Ferasis, I don't think I'm pronouncing that correctly. Card number 469. Orioles gave him a trip in 1955, not 56 as it indicates on the back. 473 Bill Renna, date of birth. Roman Semprock, number 474. There's a small red triangle in the P on his last name, just a little blip there. But a lot of printing errors like this can be just one of a kind and not really worth anything. But this one was actually mass produced, so if you got that one, hang on to it. It's a little more rare than the original. Jackie Jensen All-Star card number 489. There's yellow on the top left corner. You just see a little wedge of yellow there, and pretty easy to find. And that rounds out our list. That's a big list, isn't it? Thanks guys for hanging in. There's a lot of cool errors in this set, a lot of variations and blips and stuff, but thanks for hanging in there. If you guys aren't already subscribed, I'd love to see you subscribe. If you guys have some comments, leave them down below. I'll reply to you. It's been a beautiful stay here in Whistler, BC, and I appreciate you guys watching, tuning in, and we'll see you next time. The hills are alive